Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green. You're tuning into AMTV Alternative Media Television. Let's talk about the death of Eric Garner and let the race baiting begin. Isn't it interesting how the president always has to intersect? It always has to say something about race. He's always speaking about race.
I hope you'll allow me this indulgence before I get started talking about what we have accomplished and what we still have to accomplish. Because one of the things about being president is news breaks, and it's important for people to hear how I feel and how I'm thinking about some important issues that we face in this nation. As some of you may have heard, there was a decision that came out today by a grand jury not to indict police officers who had interacted with an individual named Eric Garner.
Whether or not it's Trayvon Martin likening himself to him like it could have been his own son, whether or not it's Michael Brown, and now Eric Garner, the tragic death of another African-American black man. It's almost as if only African-Americans are attacked by the police. The President of the United States completely overlooks Caucasians, whites, Asians, Filipinos, Hispanics, Hawaiians, Native Americans. It's almost like this, they don't even matter. They're never spoken to from this who just happens to be African-American president. But notice how the mainstream media, and this is the point with this story, notice how the mainstream media, namely news propaganda machines owned by the state like CNN through their corporate interests, move straight, right away, from the failed attempt at the Michael Brown agenda, because the evidence pointed the other direction that Michael Brown was a thug, straight to this Eric Garner case, an actual, what appears to be legitimate case of excessive police force. And you can watch the video for yourself, and as they're chokeholding him, he says, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Yet they continue to choke him until he has an asthma attack. He was known to have asthma and problems with that, and dies on the scene. Now this looks like a legitimate case. See for yourself.
You play your hard way for what? Every time you see me, you want to mess with me. I'm tired of it. It stops today.
This guy right here is forcibly trying to lock somebody up for breaking up a fight.
Everybody standing here, they told you I didn't do nothing. I did not sell nothing. Because every time you see me, you want to harass me, you want to stop me, you want to sell a cigarette. I'm minding my business, officer. I'm minding my business. Please just leave me alone. I told you the last time. Please just leave me alone.
Hold on.
Don't touch me, please. Do not touch me.
Where's your hand, buddy?
I can't breathe. 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 I can't breathe.
Once again, police beating up on people.
Back up.
Right here.
Back up and get on that step.
Okay.
Back up.
All he did was break up a fight. And this is what happens for breaking up a fight. This shit is crazy.
Everybody back up. Back up.
He can't breathe. Look, now, man, they gave this man a seizure.
Yo, move out the way. Yo.
It's my brother. We live
You know
here.
what? Back up this way. Everybody now back up. It's now going to become a crisis. Back it up. Back it up. Come
I'm
on.
going to my house.
No. This way. Let's go.
Can't go in my
In
house?
the house or that way?
All right, I go
pick
that way.
Pick a choice.
Let me get my
Let's
bike.
Go. You had your chance to get your bike, sir. Staying over there right now.
So again, we're not arguing that this isn't a legitimate case that should be investigated. Police brutality, excessive force, using the chokehold on this who just happens to be rather large African-American man. But notice how CNN and the mainstream media BoobTube jumps specifically from the race-baiting case and the failed agenda, the failed narrative that was Michael Brown, because again, all the evidence pointed that Michael Brown was a thug, that he had strong-arm robbed the liquor store moments before and then charged with his head down. Darren Wilson, the officer, shot him likely in self-defense, as was ruled by a grand jury. They quickly moved from that story that didn't work out for him, that didn't fit the agenda of the mainstream media and the state and the Obama administration, divide and conquer and race-bait the American people, straight to a legitimate case in the death of Eric Garner. Now we have On the verge of riots, although it's been relatively peaceful so far, but aggressive protests all across the country, namely in New York City, protesting this tragic death. Why is there so much focus on this? Why does the president continue to intersect on race? Why does he completely ignore every other race? Again, whites, Caucasians, African Americans, Hispanics, Native Americans, Filipinos, Hawaiians. Why does he continue to ignore everyone else? Why is he so focused on the black man? Is it because he knows it's a very racially sensitive issue here in this country, that we have a historical background and context with this, that it opens up new wounds? Why would the president, why does he keep speaking to this? I mean, ask yourself the question, is it the responsibility of the president to constantly be focused on race? Shouldn't he be like doing something like running the country? Addressing the $18 trillion debt that's up 70% since Obama has become president of the United States? Shouldn't he be, maybe looking and auditing the Federal Reserve, for example? Maybe going after criminals on Wall Street, trying to balance the budget? Prevent us from entering a new war, this new Cold War that we're in with Russia right now? Shouldn't he be addressing that? But no, he's not addressing that. He's speaking to Eric Garner. He's speaking to and of Trayvon Martin. He's speaking to and of Michael Brown. And it's for a reason. It's to divide and conquer the American people. It's exactly why the agenda, the CNN statist, race-baiting agenda, has been so focused on Michael Brown. And when that didn't work, and they weren't able to push that agenda effectively because all the evidence pointed against Michael Brown in support of the officer, as was the grand jury's opinion, that decided not to indict, they moved straight to this story all across the headlines, and it's all you see. It's almost like there's no other news. It's just a war against blacks. That's the only thing that exists in America today, a war against African Americans and black people. And the president constantly interjecting and putting his foot in his mouth, addressing race issues in the United States. This president couldn't be any more than a race baiter. This mainstream media couldn't be any more than a race hater. I'm sick and tired of watching CNN pundits like Ashley Banfield talk about race, or Don Lemon with his scarf, and Anderson Cooper interjecting themselves in Ferguson, Missouri over Michael Brown. And, questioning the race issues here in America. The war against the black man. I'm tired of hearing it. I'm tired of the reverse discrimination against whites, against Hispanics, against Asians, against Filipinos, against everybody else. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of a president that is constantly focused on race and doesn't do his friggin' job. That's what honestly sets a fire in my belly. That's where I think should be the focus. I found it interesting. There was another interview on CNN, the bullshit boop doop mainstream media propaganda network machine. Like you're getting any truth there in news. Ben Carson, who I think is a presidential hopeful candidate, also a neurosurgeon, I believe, likened the United States to a police state, called it very similar to Nazi Germany. And they wanted him to take it back. Wolfie Blitzer, his little beard. I love Wolfie. He's my favorite. Little Wolfie Blitzer with his little beard. He's like, do you want to take back your statement, Ben Carson? You want to take back what you said about the United States potentially being a police state and Nazi Germany? And he said, no, you're obviously clearly focused on the Nazi comment, not focused on what I'm actually saying.
All right, so at least you're thinking about running for president. So I got to get you to clarify a couple very controversial comments you made. You and I have known each other for a long time. We're both Johns Hopkins University alumni, if you will. So it was pretty stunning to me when you said this, the comparison has been widely reported about the United States and Nazi Germany. I'm going to play the clip, and then I want you to explain, Dr. Carson, what you meant.
Very much like Nazi Germany, and I know you're not supposed to say Nazi Germany, but I don't care about political correctness. You had a government using its tools to intimidate the population. We now live in a society where people are afraid to say what they actually believe. And it's because of the PC police, it's because of politicians, it's because of news. It's all of these things are combining to stifle people's conversation.
All right, so you got to explain that, because when I heard the comparison of the United States of America, the greatest country in the world, the greatest country ever, to Nazi Germany, I said, what is he talking about?
Well, see, what you were doing is allowing words to affect you more than listening to what was actually being said.
So please,
you're just focused on specific words. You see, that's the point. Notice how the president ordered body cameras in the tens of thousands I just read. He wants to put a camera on all the cops. This is the police state, folks. This is the surveillance state. This is everything Edward Snowden has leaked, everything that the NSA is doing illegally and anti-constitutionally. That's why the president's focused on race to divide and conquer the American people, that he knows if they were unified could maybe potentially accomplish some good here in the United States. Maybe bring some pressure on financial criminals on Wall Street and politicians that are working for the same scum that run high finance today and help orchestrate multi-trillion-dollar bailouts. That's the reason for the divide and conquer strategy. It also justifies the police state in America. It justifies anytime the president wants to wave his wand and declare martial law, as we saw on the verge in Ferguson, as we saw most notably with the Boston bombing as they searched for Joe Carr and his brother. Only 2 dudes locked down an entire American city just because the president wanted to wave his wand. Yeah, get more cameras. Get more eyes in the sky. That's what we need. More Big Brother. Body cameras, cameras on our phone, iPhone, Apple Pay. I mean, it's all about that. It's all about the technology. Divide and conquer. And this race baiting by this scum of the earth that makes up the President of the United States and the mainstream media today. I'm Christopher Green. That's the truth. Get it out everywhere. This is what you need to know about the death of Eric Garner. Get it out, share it everywhere with your friends and family, and make it viral. Click the link below to support our sponsor. Peace.